Pinnock was like, I want you to come work for my company after you get done. His company was Intermountain Financial Group, Connecticut Mutual Brokerage, right there in Salt Lake. So I did. I finished my schooling, come back and married Joan, and started down the path. And I fully thought, well, I'll be a multimillionaire by the time I'm 25. And I was, very much so. I had an aptitude that was exceedingly high for the financial world. I won't get into any of that, but I scored in the top 2 percentile in testing in areas like the Series 6 and 63 tests
I've taken those tests, yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
I'm chartered financial consultant. I breeze through the CHFC like no. It's just, to me, it's second nature. And I was granted a scholarship back to New York, Wall Street, actually, because I was in top 2 percentile.
Okay.
And it was an accelerated 2-week, my top of the line. I sat at the feet of Paul Exeter of Citibank, and actually the last person that we met and was trained and saw and learned all about the Federal Reserve was Paul Volcker. I sat at the feet of Paul Volcker, Chairman of the Federal Reserve. So I know what I'm talking about with this area, okay? Mm-hmm. So where did I begin to question things? Well, one thing that Volcker said it always haunted me. Now, keep in mind, we've had 2 weeks of extensive training on how to manage portfolios, how to manage risk, how to Series 6, 63, securities licensing, how to make mutual funds, how to gauge risk and reward. And then not only that, but the commodities futures, the FX markets, the futures markets. If you know what's happening, if you have the right inside sources, like the movie Trading Places, right? Here's your ticket. You can make billions with commodities future trading if you know the inside truths, okay? And so all that, so we learned how to do this. And I was like, wow, I'm going to be a multimillionaire. I know all the ins and outs and the secrets. And here we have Volcker coming in, and comes in with his, $100,000 clothes. I mean, it just reeks of the wealth, and everybody's. Now I'm the only from Utah in the group. The rest are Jewish guys. I'm not against Jewish guys, but it's just fact, right? I just didn't fit with them in the language they were using. Sometimes even using Yiddish terms. And some had the yarmulkes and the whole 9 yards, and that's okay. I mean, we're brothers with them. There's no problem. Here's Volcker, and he's Jewish. He's talking their language. And his whole thing was only like 10 minutes. We came into the classroom. He pulls out this really expensive Cuban cigar, gets a waste paper basket, bites the, whatever on the tip of it off, spits it into the waste paper basket, and he pulls out this golden lighter, and he's looking at it, and he puts the cigar in his mouth and pulls out and I'm sitting very close to him. I'm probably from as close as we are, so I'm seeing this, and he pulls out this money clip, and he peels off. I thought it was phony money because I've never seen it was different color. As far as it was greenbacks, but I never seen it like it. There was zeros. I mean, it must have been, I don't know if it was a $100,000 bill or what. It was a large denomination bill. And he holds it up and does this, and there was I don't know which president was on, but it was a bill. And he shows it, and he crumples it up, lights the bill, gets it burning, and lights a cigar with it. Throws it in the metal trash bag. He just burned at least $100,000. It might have been $1 million. All I saw was zeros. And everybody was like, they got the attention of the whole group. They was all kind of in a semicircle around. He was blowing. The cigar was, pretty stinky. And I said, what is this all about? He says, and the message was this. He says this, and he holds his roll of bills. is not for you. It's not for you. This is for the consumption of the goy. It's his exact words. I'll never forget those words. Because I didn't know what that meant. Was it an acronym? Gross over income, GOI. I wrote down, what is GOI? I thought it was GOI. Consumption of the goy. What is this about? I made a note on my pad. Goy. He's puffing away. He says, "You do not have these." He puts the money clip back and he pulls it out of his other pocket, a whole pocket full of gold coins. Shiny, brand new ones. He lays them out. He puts them right on the little table in front of me. He lays them out. There's like a dozen of them. South African coins, Canadian maple leaves, Dutch, all of them. But he had a whole bunch of American eagles. Beautiful gold coins. He says, all that you do, you put all your profits into this, and here is the list of the bank accounts you put them into. They were offshore accounts, most of them in Switzerland, some in the Cayman Islands. You don't use this, you turn these into these. This is for the consumption of the goy. This is for us. Any questions? That was all he wanted to tell us. He's a chairman of the Federal freaking Reserve. And that's all of his message to us. I'm sitting here. He says, any questions? I'm done here. I'm sitting here. That's not what I was expecting. This is the grand wisdom from the top of the food chain and the monetary system. I'm sitting here. Looks around. It makes contact with everybody. Any questions? And I'm sitting here. Yeah, I got a question. He says, yes. What's your question? He's puffing on a cigar. I said, this is our last day here. This is my last day in New York. And he says, oh, you're the Utah boy. Like he already knew, you're the Utah boy. I says, yeah. And I'm heading back to Utah. He goes, what's your question? I said, we learned all about the importance of diversification, not to put all your eggs into one basket. And you're telling us that's not for us. We should put all of our eggs in the basket, put all of our, I mean, are you talking all of our profits into this medium? He goes, yes. I says, why should we put all of our eggs in a golden basket? And everybody's like, he didn't even hear me. He was like, he just started puffing away, taking them. I'm sitting there, do I need to ask the question? He knew it. He just, effect. He says, never forget. He grabs all the coins up and he shakes them and jingles them, puts them back in his pocket. Till you have these, you have no basket. You have no eggs. You have no eggs. There was no eggs. And he just exited the room. Elvis left the building. I'm just like, okay, so we got one set of rules for the SEC and the common folks, but these elitists, no, it's about doing this. And I reported that to Hugh Pinnock. I mean, that really got me thinking, why should, if we are to counsel our clientele, maybe we should all focus on nothing but gold and precious metals, silver, platinum. Because obviously Paul Volcker said that's all you should do. I mean, Pinnock's answer was, no, you need to make hay while the sun's shining. Go and just, the field is white, ready to harvest, make money. And then what you do with it, your own self, but you diversify and follow through and do the program. All right, good, that's fine. But it still bothered me. Every time I would start thinking about it and this and that.
Wait, did you ever figure out what goy was?
Yes. Goy is human cattle.
Yeah.
That's the Yiddish term for non-Jews. It's Gentile/human cattle to be basically manipulated. It's for the consumption of the goy. That's what he meant.
Yeah.